All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the third webinar on the core models of teaching knowledge test. So we have spent some time already exploring some of the models, and today we'll be delving into model 3. So those of you who have already been here, you understand that it's not a good idea probably to take a test on a whim, and you need to consider which model to take and how to prepare for the model so that you can enhance your teaching skills, and benefit from that experience, obviously. So just a couple of questions for you. Could you use the chat box and type in something about yourself, like, okay, so probably there are some people who attended the first webinar, so type in 1 if you have seen my presentation about model 1, If you've been with me on Tuesday, then type in 2. If you've been on all of the days, then you can type in all the numbers, obviously. And those of you who are here for the first time, just type in 3 because you want to know more about the third model. Okay, we have quite a few participants, who are active throughout the course, which is great. Some participants, who are joining us today, that's fine, good, welcome. Okay, great, Do we have anyone who has already taken TKT? Could you type in a plus if you have this experience? Yes, oh, wow. So it's a kind of refresher course for you, right? I can imagine. Okay, that's actually good to know. It's always good to brush up on your knowledge, on your understanding of some principles, concepts. Okay, so some of you have taken some of the models, and you want to continue that. Okay, that's good, All right, what might be your motivation actually to take this course with us, to take the exam, of course, to be better prepared, to get to grips with the areas that are going to be assessed there, just to get this kind of buzz over professional development activity. What's your motivation? Tell me. Hello, everyone. Better prepared. Okay. A refresher of some kind. Okay. It's good that you are reflective practitioners and you are here to enhance your skills. That's great. Nice. Okay, I'll be sharing with you some useful information about this model in particular, but there is an overlapping between models. So we'll be referring to something we have already discussed previously. Right, so we have quite a few people who know what TKT is like. So I'm going to ask you a few questions and then I'll reveal the slide with that information. So it's not a test, it's just to entertain you, to keep you alert, okay? So how many models are there in TKT? Type in your answers in the chat box. Okay, so we have 2 answers, either 5 or 3. Very good. And some of you are deliberately stating, yes, 3 plus 2, something like this. Very good. Who remembers what's the first model is focused on? What areas are going to be assessed in the first model? What kind of skills can you foster by preparing for that model? Language, very good. Language knowledge, many are saying. Anything else? There might be something else. Language awareness, of course. Grammar, that's better. So we have some theory related to grammar, perhaps. Language background, phonology, good. All skills and systems you're mentioning, that's great. Motivation, Awesome. So that's basically exactly, that's also methodology. I wanted to hear that. Very good. Okay, that's amazing. So different theories related to language learning and teaching. How about the second model? What's that about? Planning, lesson planning, yeah. There is one more component that we briefly mentioned on Tuesday. Yes, resources. Yeah, teaching materials, resources, how to evaluate materials. Well, there is an element of that there in TKT, although of course it's not that advanced. If we compare TKT to, I don't know, Delta Model 1, which is also a test, obviously, you have to demonstrate a very deep understanding of the theories behind lesson planning, yeah, and you'll be evaluating materials, creating your own ideas, yeah, producing extended or short responses. All right, good, very good, very good, very good. Yeah. So I'm not going to elicit what Model 3 is about because that's not fair. But yeah, here you can see the slide with all the information about the models, 3 core models. And the first model assesses your knowledge of the concepts related to background to language teaching, principles of language learning, language acquisition, yeah, which is actually quite a fascinating area if you delve into that. It covers all the language skills system, something that you've mentioned, and factors in the language learning process that we need to keep in mind. We'll be considering them while planning, choosing approaches, methods, and then planning our lessons. And Model 2 is basically on planning, considering again, keeping in mind all the aspects that we have already covered in Model 1. And then in Model 3, we'll be implementing everything that we've planned. So there is a kind of logical progression from model to model. And of course, there are huge overlaps in between models. That's what teaching is like, yeah? So we need to look at it holistically. There are also 2 specialist models, TKT Young Learners and TKT CLIL, right? And I'm sure you might be interested in taking one of these models at a certain moment, and my colleagues next week will raise your awareness of these models too. So as far as I have already mentioned, well, I probably need to remind you a couple of things. Yeah, there are no formal entry requirements. If you want to take TKT, you just go for it. And your performance will be reported using 4 bands. So to achieve band 4, you will have to demonstrate comprehensive and accurate knowledge of the areas tested. So for example, let's say you are taking the first model, and if you're aware of the background theories related to learning and teaching, and you can confidently answer all the questions within the time limit, then probably it'll be band 4. Yeah. So you will show familiarity with all concepts and terms, and hopefully you won't have any difficulties answering these questions. At the same time, you can't fail the test. Yeah, you will be awarded a certificate even if you have some basic knowledge of certain areas. And obviously, you may have basic knowledge in a particular area, let's say classroom management, but more profound knowledge in another area, for example, lesson planning, I don't know. That might happen, and then the bands will be different in different models. So whatever model you're taking, you'll be awarded a separate certificate for that. And it's like similar to, I don't know if you know, YLE tests. Yeah, there are different shields there. They can't fail the test. So the same thing is happening here. You'll be awarded a band. So you can enter through an authorized Cambridge English Examination Center, which can be found if you go to this website. So you just click on search for the center, yeah, and you'll be able to find the center which is nearby. Yeah, thank you, we've got the link now in the chat box, and then you can register for the exam. And yeah, so basically you need to choose the date which is convenient. TKT tests are available throughout the year. It's just you need to register a couple of weeks, well, probably a month in advance, something like this. So in the past, I used to recommend 6 weeks in advance of a test day, yeah, to be able to register for the date which you really find convenient. Now, it's not necessary to do a course of study to enter TKT. You can prepare on your own. As there are some free resources available on the website, yeah, official preparation materials you can find on the same website. 2 months, yeah, okay, great, yeah. So something, yeah, 6 weeks is a safe kind of option, yeah, but probably even 2 months, okay. So you have a downloadable version of the handbook, the glossary, and some sample papers. So again, Cambridge English, the same website, TKT, and you can find all materials available. And there is plenty of actually information about the test itself if you want to find out more. Obviously, there are some course books I usually recommend, and the most important book is the course book. Yeah, there are different editions, but the contents is more or less the same. If you want to prepare for specialist modules, then you can find TKT CLIL available, yeah, in bookshops. And if you prepare for another module, there is no such a course book as TKT Young Learners, but there is a very good book by Jane Moon, Children Learning English. So it might be a very useful source of information because the focus is on primary school children, and this book covers all the most important aspects. In bookshops, you can also find this type of TKT book, yeah? This module, which is knowledge about language, is no longer available, but you can use this course book because in Module 1 there are many of the topics covered, and it might be really useful, yeah? Yeah, so you can use course books and books that you can see on the slide and those that I've just highlighted for you as a self-study source of information. The books that you can see here by Jim Scribner, for example, Learning Teaching is a widely recognized guide. Many teachers use it as a source of inspiration because there are plenty of practical ideas. There is a chapter on nearly every aspect of teaching. It is particularly useful for Module 1. Well, to be honest, for all modules, yeah, for 2 and 3 too, because there is a chapter on classroom management, and whatever the activity that is being described is actually described quite well, so you can go and use it. So yes, there are many practical ideas, techniques that are highlighted there, and of course, essential teacher knowledge contains over 100 of units relevant to, for TKT takers. For example, today we are talking about classroom management, and there are several chapters on managing learners, teaching a lesson, and so on and so forth. So there is also an accompanying DVD that I keep reminding you of, and those of you who like watching experienced teachers giving lessons to nick some specific teaching techniques from them, so you can find that source really useful. For example, if we talk about classroom management, then like introducing and drilling new language, yeah, one of the aspects that is highlighted there. So I guess it's time to focus on the third model, yeah, let's have a look at some topical areas. So as you can see, the title suggests that TKT 3 modules, the third module is on classroom management. But what does that entail? Okay, I want to hear your ideas. What's classroom management about? Could you please? Yes, it is a paper-based exam, that's right, yes. So could you please type in your ideas? What does classroom management entail? Because it's a wide area. Timing, okay, probably, yeah, maintaining the right pace. Grouping students, great ideas. Yes, different teacher roles, absolutely right. We'll be working on that, yes. Correcting students. Yes, managing different activities. Giving feedback, that's what you mean, I think. Okay, classroom language, fantastic. You know everything, that's amazing. Rules, okay. Rules are more, I think, appropriate to talk about when you work with young learners, and you'll be working about classroom management activities and useful techniques with a colleague of mine who is giving an input on TKT young learners. But yes, that might be true. Yes, errors. Different types of staging, yeah, depending on the lesson type, lesson frameworks, giving feedback, yes. Yeah, as you can see, yeah, in the previous model, we've highlighted some of the areas related to that, but yeah, probably we'll be talking about some of the aspects today again, because that's what we do in lessons. Yeah, absolutely right, yeah. Setting, yeah, boundaries, perhaps, yeah, giving instructions, maybe giving a time limit, yeah, that's also might be very useful. Pair work, stages of the lesson, yes, okay, great ideas, awesome. So, because you know nearly everything, I have a set of questions for you. So who can answer the first one? How many parts are there to Model 3? 2. Yes, there are 2 topical areas. It's actually quite strange how they split that into 2 areas, because I think classroom management is an umbrella term and nearly everything belongs there. But yeah, technically speaking, yes, there are 2. So what do they focus on? I have already revealed the answer, but maybe you didn't hear what I'm saying. So tell me, please. Okay, it's good, Marie, that you don't know, because that's why I'm here, right? Motivation, timing. Oh, interesting. Time management. Yes. But 2 areas. We have 2 big areas: classroom management and classroom language. Absolutely right. Okay, great. Okay, what terms do you think we are going to highlight today, we'll be using today, and you'll be assessed on? Any peculiar terms, concepts that we need to be aware of? Who can give me a hint? TTT, very good. Yeah, we may use certain abbreviations, yeah, like TTT, which stands for, Lilia, could you help us? What does it stand for? And STT, okay, so people understand what you mean. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, awesome. Yes, teacher talking time. Well, test, teach, test as well, which is more relevant for the first model, because we've talked about the approaches. And then the second model, because we sequence the stages according to the approach we are using. And then, of course, in the lesson, we'll be following the procedure. Yes, so there is that. CLIL, oh, that's interesting. Content-based learning, content and language-based integrated learning. Yes, so that actually is another way of approaching teaching. Yeah, you can use that method. Interaction patterns, fantastic. CCQs, interesting. Yeah. What does it stand for, Adil? eliciting. Okay, great. Yeah. Scrivener's teaching language rules. All right. Yeah. Very good. Concept checking questions. Well done. Yeah. You know what? I know that many people confuse ICQs and CCQs. Yeah. So concept checking questions. Do we use them to clarify the instructions or for something else? No. Yeah. What for? What for? Yes. Yes. To check understanding and clarify meaning. Absolutely right. Yes. Awesome. Okay, you are amazing. Okay, let's move on and talk about what areas might be challenging in terms of classroom management. What comes to mind? You have already mentioned actually setting boundaries. Yeah, for young learners in particular, it is very important. Maybe motivating students is another issue. Sometimes you see that they're tired at the end of the day, and you need to do something. Yeah, there should be a kind of stirrer, or you need to change the pace, or maybe the interaction patterns should be changed, yeah, to keep them alert. So what other challenging activities might be there in this model? Yes, unpredictable pace, true. Yeah, it's very hard to anticipate how long it takes, right? Whatever the activity is. Games, whether they're going to be involved, yeah, to be motivated to do a task or not. Students' involvement. Yes, exactly. Especially at the beginning of the course, when you don't know your students well, you may have certain doubts, yeah, whether it is a good activity to introduce or you need a plan B. Well, it's always good to have plan B, C, whatever. Yeah, encouraging, absolutely right. Relationship with students. Okay, so you're mentioning quite a few activities that can help you motivate students. And obviously, if you run these activities, yeah, you may have to cope well with task setting. Like, for example, whatever the game is, it may be quite complex, yeah, and the instructions may be lengthy and therefore confusing. So that's a challenge for a teacher. Video. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by video. What might be challenging in videos? Like students may lose the track of the video, or what? Or you are highlighting a variety of activities. Didn't quite get what's that about. Brainstorming. Yeah, brainstorming is tricky, Marina. I totally agree. So if we talk about different task types, this is one of the collaborative tasks, and you have to be really be there, yeah, to prompt them or to monitor unobtrusively if they can cope well, yeah, to collect information about their findings, to be able to give them some feedback and later on input on useful language, dealing with emergent needs. And this is, of course, a very necessary skill for a teacher. Okay, great. We have plenty of great ideas. Now, let me just reveal the answers gradually. So first of all, TKT Module 3, surprisingly, will contain 80 questions. And you'll be given 80 minutes to answer these questions. It is still the same. Yeah, whatever the model you take, it is basically the same. The task types, again, are the same. And the areas that are covered are highlighted here. So you have to understand, you have to be aware what is happening, what is going on. And also to be able to identify whether students are fast finishers, whether they are reluctant to participate, or, I don't know, they find it easy, too easy, or too difficult, they can't cope with it. Different types of roles you have to take, yeah, throughout the lesson due to the circumstances, different stages of the lesson, the aims, and how we can make use of the information that is available for us. Yeah, we collect information by monitoring, by keeping an eye on like weaker students, for example, and then stronger students as well, not to give them a chance to dominate. And how can we manage? How can we ensure equal participation, for example, things like that? Yeah. Yes, big groups. Yeah, that's an issue, of course. Yeah, that might be an issue. And by the way, that's really interesting, because I remember at a certain point, different lessons in parks were really popular, and I was involved in running such lessons myself. So what do you think will be a solution to teach a big group? So how can you manage activities in the most efficient way? What can we do? Grouping, yeah, absolutely. Yes, so splitting them into groups right away will help you manage. They'll be more focused on one another, and you'll be monitoring. Of course, there will be some kind of input, giving instructions, yeah, as a plenary activity or something like that. But then again, group work, and then again, consolidating together. Exactly, yeah, lots of things like that. Okay, awesome. So, as we have already mentioned, there are two topical areas in Module 3. One is teachers and learners' language in the classroom, and the second one is classroom management. Now, in my opinion, classroom management involves classroom language. So classroom management is bigger, but of course, it's not only about talking to students or helping them say something. Yeah, classroom management entails something else, and I think you have already mentioned some of them, like monitoring, exactly, grouping students, many other things like praising and so on. And I'm going to highlight some other things, different roles, classroom management techniques, grouping, correcting learners, giving feedback. I think we have already highlighted them all in the chat box. And on the left, you can see what kind of language we can consider for using, and why actually we have to use classroom language, and why students may need to talk, right? And apart from something obvious, yeah, when you ask them a question or want them to practice the target language, whatever it is, you may also hear some utterances which are really functional, yeah? Like, for example, they need help, and if they don't know actually how to ask for help, yeah, how to require that, then probably they'll be using L1, yeah, their first language, which is a shame, because everything can be delivered in English if you just give them the tools. And quite often we teach a group of beginners or low-level students by working on classroom language, the language that they need to use to be able to understand us and to be able to do something in English, yeah? And that involves saying hellos, saying goodbyes, but also asking for help or asking for clarification, like, what does it mean? Or could you repeat, please? I don't know, things like that, yeah? That can help. All right. So now let's actually consider the first point, the first bullet point from classroom management, and that will be teacher roles. So here is a puzzle for you. I'm going to give you a moment to look. So how many roles can you find here in the grid? Type them in the chat box. Yes, a manager is one of them. Thank you, Anna, well done. You can see and find words actually horizontal, vertical, and also diagonal. Very good. Right, enabler, perhaps are at the end. Yeah, very good. Passes, I'm not sure it's a role. Yeah, it's a good word though. Helper, very good. Yeah, reflector, I like this one. Right, assessor, advisor. Okay, perfect. Planner, yes. Okay. Okay. Monitor. I can see some people started searching diagonally. Yeah, very good. Very good. What? Possessor? I'm not sure this is one of the roles we need to take on. Okay, okay. Yeah, meow. Okay, that's a good one. All right, okay. So, so what we've got here. Of course, the list of roles is endless. Yeah, we can go on, and we can add a lot more other roles. But we'll be focusing on those that might be highlighted in a test, yeah, and those that I've seen somewhere in different sources, and I'll highlight them in some sample papers as well. So first, we need to identify some synonyms. Right? There are some similar terms. Could you find them, please? Some kind of pairs, maybe 3 words, which you think may mean the same. They represent more or less the same type of role. Okay. Helper and facilitator, absolutely right. Manager and planner, I'm not sure they are the same. Enabler, facilitator, true, yes. Counselor, advisor, very good, that's smart. Reflector and assessor, they're connected, of course, but they're not equal in my opinion. Manager and mentor, okay, I don't know if you can see mentor here. This is actually a very interesting topic. I'm doing research in this area at the moment, but I don't think it's relevant for TKT. Okay, okay, yeah, there are monitor and diagnostician for sure, yeah, assessor and diagnostician, yeah, language resource and narrator, yeah. Don't know what you're saying. Some of the words don't belong to this word cloud. Adapter, I would say adapter and planner are similar to a certain extent. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So the synonyms that I managed to find, advisor and counselor, yeah, they have a lot in common. Enabler that you've used, helper and facilitator, they're very similar. Assessor and a diagnostician, they have something in common, obviously. Reflector, planner, and then adapter, yeah. So all interconnected processes. Monitor and diagnostician, and of course an observer will be another synonym for that. I don't know if there is a synonym for language resource. Do you think there is? Not sure. And then, yeah, contributor, narrator, maybe language resource. I don't know if you need to supply students with some ideas. Okay, anyway, so we have some ideas already, and I've got some descriptions. So the next slide will be, yeah, that's a good idea, Lada. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so some of them, there may be an overlap in between terms, so don't worry too much about that. But some of the things will clarify us the difference between terms for sure. Now, which role is this about? So you can see the word cloud at the top of the slide and some descriptions from the glossary and sample papers. So which role is that about? Okay, there is a correct answer actually. And the key word is observing, and then collecting and whatever and keeping and so on. So monitor is the right answer. So you can see the role of monitor, involves actually collecting information about the progress of students, which is like strengths and weaknesses, but there is another role which is embedded there, and I'm going to highlight you it on the following slide. Let's have a look, this one. So what do you think? What do we call this type of role? Okay, assessor, yeah, I can see why you are saying it's the assessor, but I need another word. Yes, diagnostician, that's right. We do evaluate learners' needs and difficulties even at the beginning of the course. We don't assess them yet, yeah? We want to understand what to do in the course of study, to plan the course or lessons, yeah? So it is called a diagnostician. Very good. This is the answer. And let's move on. So we have the description of a quite an interesting role. I don't know if you can name it, but it'll be great if you can. Yes, there are overlaps, so don't worry too much about that. Yeah. Yes, yes, absolutely right. This is a manager, which involves, of course, being a facilitator, yeah, an observer, and so on and so forth. Whatever you say, yeah, motivator, instruction giver, yeah, and so on. So we can split it into many mini roles, yeah, yeah, and this is called a manager, of course. Yeah, very good. Okay, so I think I have one more slide with a puzzle of this kind. Which role is it? Yes, it's multifaceted type of phenomenon, yeah, concept, yeah, being a manager, of course. I totally agree with you, yeah. So let's have a look at this one. So what you think it is? Enabler or facilitator, helper, very good. Yes, so you got it right. And again, we have some terms, some key concepts that are highlighted for us. Enabling learners, yeah, helping learners, and so on. So yeah, this is it. So they call it a facilitator, but yeah, some other minor roles might be very similar. Very good, very good. Okay, how about this one? The key word is very easy to identify here. Have a look at the first word of each bullet point. Very good, yes. Yeah, of course, a reflector. Yeah, thinking, contemplating, considering something, keeping in mind something. Yes, absolutely right. Yeah, very good. Okay, awesome. Okay, one more. Okay, those of you who attended my session on Tuesday, I think you need to understand this easily because that's what we've talked about. Yeah, planner. That's right. So when we plan our lessons, we select materials, we adjust them to meet our learners' needs, we anticipate problems, keeping in mind their class profile. Yeah, we prepare tasks. And we decide which methodology to use, like, for example, whether to present new vocabulary in a teacher-led manner, using presentation, practice, production, or using a test first to assess their knowledge, because you see, probably they have some background knowledge in this topical area, and that can help you. So, yeah, this is a planner. Absolutely right. Okay, great. Well done, all of you. So this one. Don't hurry up. Consider all the bullet points to be able to identify this role. Fantastic, Irina. Yes, very good. Yeah, I can see quite a lot of good answers. You got it right. So you are the resource. It doesn't mean that you're feeling the students, yeah, as empty vessels, yeah, with knowledge, because you can use different approaches to for giving input, but you need to help students understand the target language by checking their comprehension, yeah, consolidating knowledge, maybe explaining something, yeah, and clarifying that explicitly. And if there are errors, then we need to deal with them too. Absolutely right. Okay, awesome. Okay, so this one is really short, so I'm sure you won't have any problems identifying it. Very good, Karina. That's right. That's absolutely right. Yes. There is an element of helping, of course. That's why we do that. We contribute to a discussion, for example, or an activity with our ideas. We sort of prompt students with something. But yeah, this is a contributor, of course. Right, very good. And now, okay, I like both advisor and a counselor because they're synonyms in my opinion, but that's what giving advice is like, yeah? And of course you show your understanding and hopefully a clear understanding of what your learners really need by giving a tip. Okay, let's focus on what tips you can give to your learners. Just any ideas? Could you use the chat box to give me, I don't know, a hint on what kind of tips you sometimes give to your students, what to do outside in between your lessons? Reading books, okay, makes sense, yeah. Do you recommend particular books, graded readers, authentic books? Yes, listening to songs. Pronunciation is not clear. How can they work on pronunciation? Yes, watching videos, yeah. Films. Graded readers, okay, I see. Yeah, songs, podcasts, great. Crosswords, yeah, okay. Yeah, so you can show them different sources of information, and depending on their interest, you can, yeah, somehow guide them. Platforms. Which platforms, Daria? Tongue twisters. That's nice, yeah, possibly. Yeah, pen friends, yeah. Okay, знания. Have no idea what you're talking about, but yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, Future Learn, yeah, that's a great idea because Future Learn actually is a great source for both teachers and students, and if their level is high enough, they can just sign up for a course in English. And the course won't be about English, yeah, but the content will be presented in English, which there is an element of CLIO, content and language integrated learning, and that's how they can improve their language skills as well, by collaborating and contributing to the discussions on forums. Absolutely right. Okay, we have great ideas like Duolingo. Yes, that's how I brush up on my French. Course books. Yeah, course books, exactly. Yeah, they can do workbook activities or videos or whatever. TED Talks, that's a great idea. BBC, yeah, I love them all. Yeah, perfect. Great ideas, yeah. So, but, yeah, okay, awesome. Right, let's move on. I have one or maybe two more roles for you. Yeah, one more role actually here. And then we'll have a look at some sample tasks. Yeah, great ideas. Thank you very much. Now we are trying to focus on this role. Yeah, you got it right. Very good. Yes, and assessor involves evaluating strengths and weaknesses, but also checking, understanding, testing, different things, including their progress, and of course, giving feedback based on that. Yes, exactly. Okay, great. So here you can see a sample task, which is a matching activity. In the box, there are some roles that you need to use, and there are 2 descriptions. So choose the right letters. I think you've been well prepared for this task. Yeah, we've brushed up on terminology, and now you know these concepts well. That's really great. I'm just hoping that you've taken notes of the tricky terms, yeah, that I've highlighted for you. Good. And 2D. Perfect. Okay. So here we can see the answers, and if you put forward your ideas, if you share something like your example, yeah, tell an anecdote, you work as a contributor. And being a language resource involves personalizing the topic, providing context, eliciting, and so on and so forth. Yes, fantastic. Right. Here is one more matching task. Here you can see the rubric, which comes from, I think, from the handbook, but I'm not sure. The thing is, I wanted you to focus on the rubric, what it might look like. And usually there is information how many times you can use each options. So here you can see you need to use some options more than once. So this is important to understand. Okay, some people are saying 1A. Some people are saying 1B. However, let's fight. The teacher puts students into groups. Yeah, we are not planning to group students at that stage. We are doing that. So probably it's 1A. Okay, I think I've missed number 2 actually. Many of you are saying 2B again. Why? Teacher asks a noisy student to speak more quietly. Do we do it at the lesson planning stage or during the lesson? So those of you who are saying 2A, you're right. And 3, let me just scroll down again. 3A again, oh mine. 3C. The teacher invites students to suggest topics. No, you're not a resource here. No, you're not. Okay, that's a tricky task. I like it. I like it. 3B, planner. The teacher invites students. There is nothing about planning. D, very good. This is it. This is it, Maria. Absolutely right. So let's just try to elaborate on that. So the first one, teacher puts students into groups of 3 for a role play. This is happening during the lesson. So things like planner is not applicable. Yeah, we don't have any information about collecting information about the learners. It's just about grouping, and that's what we do as a manager. Yeah, number 2 is actually the same. So you can see one of the students is too noisy, maybe dominant, and you ask them to shut up, basically. Yeah, and this is also being a manager. And number 3, the teacher invites students to suggest topics for course content. So today we're going to choose the most interesting topics for the course. So what ideas have you got? So you see what their preferences are and you work as a diagnostician. Right. Okay, this one is tricky. So spend at least a minute. Yeah, I'll give you that moment to read and then match. Okay, I can see the answers have already started appearing, and we have some ideas for A. And I can see number 2 is prevailing, very good. Yeah, and then we have 3 and 4, and you are absolutely right. So when a group of teachers do something online and then discuss the content of the course together, they're planning the course, of course. That's what you can do probably with a group of teachers who are going to run a camp together. At the end of Friday class, the teacher says, have a great weekend. So yeah, it's just to maintain a positive relationship, building rapport with the students, being human and so on. Yeah, so this is it. And finally, here is a link to YouTube. Find this and that, this is your homework, but basically you are giving them a source of information. Okay, so hopefully that's been clear enough. So any questions about teacher roles? Okay, awesome. Okay, right. This is a very interesting area, of course, and a little bit philosophic, in my opinion, because we can hold that in many different ways, but the most important thing is that we understand what that entails. Now let's move on and talk about classroom language. Remember, classroom language is not only about what we say, it's also about what we need to give to the students, like supply them with useful language. Now let's focus on learner language. Why do students need some kind of phrases? What for? Who can give me an idea what functions do we need to teach? So functional language, classroom language for students. What would you highlight on the classroom poster for them as like useful? Clarification, yes, To react, ask for help, for sure. To encourage them, okay, this is teacher language, I agree, To communicate, okay. Misunderstanding, yes, if there is misunderstanding, they need to be able to say that, very good. Interactions, it's like, it's your turn, now you tell me, Collaboration, giving feedback, oh good, your needs, okay, right, probably what you're saying, Irina, is like if students have like physical or emotional needs, they need some kind of language to express their ideas, very good, agreeing, questions, answers, perfect, Yes, exactly, Adil. Absolutely, that's the way we can get rid of L1. Absolutely. So it can be an English-speaking environment. Support, improve. Okay, great ideas. I have a few ideas just to give you a flavor what it might be like. Like we use language to clarify something, to convey meaning, to set the context, to give an example, to ask CCQs, to clarify something and so on. When we give instructions, obviously, it's also classroom language, and prompt students, and that can be even planned if you evaluate activities in advance. Students need to be able to ask for clarification. What do you mean by that? Something like, I don't understand. Could you please repeat? Or something else. Contribute. Like, can I add? I'd like to say something. Or to fill in the pause. Like if there is an awkward period of silence. Or something else. It's always good to say something, like for example at the beginning of the lesson, if you have only one olekama and other students are late, if they're being late, probably you need to do something, and if your students are well equipped, they'll be able to maintain small talk, right? Okay, so here you can see some of the functions, but the terms are hidden. But you are so smart, and I'm sure you can guess the terms. So what do we call this? Reword a sentence or phrase to improve it. I'm sure you know a couple of synonyms. Rephrase, paraphrase. Yeah, I think the first letter is R. Can we think of a word? Another word. Yeah. Yeah, there is RE. Reformulation, very good, Helena. And there is one more phrase, which is more, well, a kind of posh term from TKT, recast. So perhaps you might have heard the term, yeah, recast. Recast and reformulation, they often go together. Recast is what teachers do. We want our students to be more accurate, and that's why we reformulate their utterances, highlighting that for the students, emphasizing that the correct version is this. And reformulation is something that parents often do when their kids are just acquiring their first language, and they just reformulate without paying attention. It's a kind of mechanical reformulation, and you go on without asking the child to repeat after you. Yeah. And of course, yeah, children feel a lot more confident, and that's why it's good to use reformulation, yeah, every now and again, instead of recasting all the time. Okay, great. So let's move on. The second one. Who can give me a word for that? I'll show you all the answers after eliciting your ideas. To show that you've seen or understood, what's this? Like, you can nod, you can say, yeah, exactly, acknowledgement. Yes, that's what we do. Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of confirmation, yeah. Got it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's move on. Number 3, to express or communicate meaning. That's a tricky one. I think you need to use 2 words. Convey meaning, absolutely right. Yeah, maybe explain. Maybe you turn your explanation into questions, but that's basically what it is. Number 4, to tell someone that they've done well. Praise, absolutely right. That's one of my favorite terms, I'd say, from TKT. Now, number 5. Good. Now we have all of the answers already. I'm going to highlight the terms. Hopefully we understand them all, because now I want an example of each. Now let's have a look at recasting. Who can give me a recasting technique for something like, what example to give you? I looked for this word in a dictionary yesterday. Give me a recasting technique. Good. Yeah, looked it up. Yeah, very good. Okay. Okay. Give me an example of acknowledgement. How can we do that? Okay. Yep. Very good. Got it. Exactly. I see. Fantastic. Great ideas. Yes, nodding is also very helpful. Okay, now let's have a look at the next one. How can we convey meaning? What tools can we use? Is it clear? Oh my God. I usually kill my trainees if they say something like this. Yeah, because if you ask, is it clear? And the students don't know that. Then what happens? Yeah, do they want to say that? Do they want to confirm, admit that they're stupid? Obviously not. So that's not helping. That's not helping you to elicit information, to identify the gaps in knowledge. Yeah, and it's not helping them. Yeah, visuals, very good. Definitions, yeah, maybe explanations, some questions. Yeah, exactly. Okay, awesome. Give me an example of a praise. Yes, well done. Good job. I like it. Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Awesome. Perfect. Gorgeous. Yeah. Good for you. All right. Marvelous. Yeah. Okay. Lots of adjectives. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Great ideas. Super pooper. Duper. Yeah. And finally, how can we simplify things? So, for example, do I have an example? Actually, I do. I'm going to read an instruction and you'll have to simplify it. Would you be so kind and read at least a couple of these paragraphs? I think you can answer some questions, can't you? Great language. Yes, exactly. Read. Can you read this text and answer the questions? Exactly. Here is the set of questions. Yeah. How many questions can you see? Very good. Here is the text. What do you have to do? Okay. You have 5 minutes. Very good. Okay. Now I have some examples here. Have a look at the example and type in the technique, the function of the language, classroom language in the chat box. So number 1. Everyone remembers? Yeah, exactly. We acknowledge. Okay, some people are too lazy to type it. I know it's very tricky actually in terms of the spelling. Don't forget about W there. Okay, number 2. Number 2, simplify. I'm not sure. Yes, it is about conveying meaning, Elada. That's right, yeah. So you want to clarify what huge is, and you sort of explain exactly. Number 3. What do we do by asking? What kinds of fruit are oranges and lemons? Define. No, we are not defining. We are asking a question to. We want to hear the word from the students, don't we? Elicit, exactly, Oksana. Well done. Okay. Number 4. That's excellent work. Yes. Okay. Number 5. Praise. Do we use a C or an S there? Be careful. Thank you, Ludmila, for telling us what tiny. Yeah, the word tiny, because, yeah, that's what we want to clarify there. By doing what? By prompting students. Yes, Yulia, I'm not sure you've got all the letters right, but the idea is good. Number 6. Six is correct, yeah, okay. Yeah, what kind of correction technique is there? Recasting, very good, you're really smart. Awesome. Have a look at all the answers. Yes, this is amazing. Well done. Okay. Now there will be a sample task because you're ready for that. You are being well prepared. So have a look. You can see the examples of classroom language on the left and the function. So it's a very simple matching task. And obviously we have 5 examples and quite a lot of functions. You can use the function several times. It's okay to repeat one and the same function. Yes, 1A, that's right. Don't be lazy. 1A, 2B, is 3 going to be C? Well, actually 2B is right. That's been smart of you. How about the next one? Very good. 3E, we all agree. We're on the same page. How about number 4? I can see different answers for number 4. C and D are prevailing. Eliciting or narrating. What do you think will be the correct one? Yes, D is correct. Let's move on. Number 5. Okay, so we may repeat some of the answers already. And yes, you're absolutely right. 5 is A again. Very good, very good. Okay. So that seems to be quite obvious, right? Now, do you think teachers sometimes say something which they're not supposed to be saying? Might there be some problems in classroom language? Type in a plus. Very good. Yeah, exactly. So what might be problematic? What problems do you think may be there with classroom language that we are using? Confusing, exactly. It might be too complex. There is too much information, lack of empathy. Oh my God, yeah, exactly. Advanced vocabulary, yes. Tricky, inappropriate, exactly, yeah. Okay, if you interrupt students, that's no good, yeah. Too critical, okay. I don't know, if you give instructions, probably you don't intend to criticize, right? Maybe you are too strict and straightforward. Yeah. Or too emotional, exactly. Or the tasks are dull. Oh, interesting. Yeah, great ideas. Okay, so I have 3 situations. Let's look at the first one together. So what's wrong with that? I'm not sure, Irina, you are typing about this situation, but yes, perhaps it's too difficult for them. Yeah. So instead of saying, please tell me your name, how would you rephrase that to grade it for their level? Yeah, what's your name exactly? So yeah. And probably you can also demonstrate, yeah? I'm Anna. What's your name? Exactly. Yeah. Very good. Okay. Let's focus on number 2. Exactly. Good job will be good. Yeah, because the student is of low level, and it won't make sense for them. Very good. Yeah, so praising will be good enough. You can also say, yeah, hard work. Yeah, you've been working hard. And yeah, well done, something like this. Good job. Yeah, okay, good. Very good. And the third one is inappropriate. You're saying, what's wrong? Never talk to teenagers like that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, how would you change that? It's too childish, right? Baby talk, exactly. So what would you say? Yeah, again, well done, probably. Yeah, we're proud of you. Okay, yeah, excellent work. Things like that. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm going to challenge you a little bit. I'm going to read out an instruction and you tell me what's wrong. Jot down some of your ideas, then have a bit of a chat with your partner to find out what you think. Too many words, true. Yeah, so the instructions are long, difficult. Yeah, the pace might be a problem. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So let's have a look at some tips that classroom language should be like. Yeah, so first of all, it should be clear, concise, straightforward. The level of formality should be appropriate. Yeah, if your students Adult learners, yeah, probably you'll be more formal and neutral. Simple and polite, yeah. If you are over polite, could you please, would you be so kind? It will be confusing, right? So it should be quite direct and concise. Yeah, exactly. And here is the task related to that. So students' first language, ABC functions, and the teacher is doing something. Let's match them. Okay, we have already some answers appearing and we have different ideas about the first one, but many of you are saying that one is A, which is quite right. Yeah. And for homework, you'll be doing... Okay, so you're checking whether they remember and they understood that. Okay, 2C, that's right. Yep, very good. 3 again is C. So we do work on motivating our students, giving individual feedback and encouraging them to do something. And number 4 will be great. Okay, so we've done quite a lot of matching, right? Probably you want to see another type of activity. So here is a multiple choice task. So take a moment, read, and then be ready to contribute to the chat box. Okay, so I can see that many of you are choosing 1B. Yeah, what kind of sub-skill would you like to practice in this case? Who can give me the term? Read the article quickly and choose the title. Yes, this is gist reading or skimming. Well done. Yes, it's not pre-reading, I'm afraid. It is already reading. Yeah, reading for general understanding, gist or skimming. Very good. Okay. And we usually, yes, use it as an initial reading task to facilitate the second task. Okay. Okay, many of you are saying number 2 is A. So what's the function? Why does the teacher ask this question? What's this? Yes, to elicit. Very good. That's what we do. So to, well, first of all, to assess the students' knowledge, if they know the word or not, yeah, to help them start thinking about that concept, exactly, Christina. And that's how you start clarifying meaning already. Very good. And number 3. Okay, awesome. So I can see 3 will be C. Many of you are saying that, and that's absolutely right. Now, other stages might also be necessary, yeah, but they will appear later. So first we set the gist task, for example, and then we set like reading for specific or detailed understanding, yeah. Which might be C, for example, and then there will be a follow-on speaking activity like number 1A, right? So we can sequence activities in a logical way when the students are ready for each of them. And if we are talking about number 3, for example, that's how we stage the instructions. And this is a very important skill to not overload the students with the information we are giving. If you want them to role play something, first they need to understand the task itself, and then you can ask a couple of students to demonstrate that activity. So you can use an open class demonstration. Yeah? And of course, the cards will be given for them to understand this, the task too. Okay, now let's look at number 2. What kind of language, what kind of lesson is that on systems or skills? Skills. I don't know, it may be a lesson on skills. Maybe you're preparing them for reading or speaking, I don't know. But yeah, here we have lexes. Yeah, we are clarifying words. And first you elicit the word by clarifying meaning. Yeah, then you can also ask them some comprehension questions, concept checking questions. Yeah, for example, is it usually thin? Yeah, is it delicious? Do you like biscuits? Things like that. Can you eat biscuits? I don't know. And then after clarification of meaning, you can focus on pronunciation, drilling that, and that will be B. So the next stage will be to focus on pronunciation, and to help students build confidence, we need to do that whole class and individually. And then you can ask them to practice, yeah, and could you make a sentence, for example, things like that. So all of them are relevant stages, but we need to pick up the first one. That's the task. If they don't know the word biscuit, that's okay. Yeah, you can show them the picture, ask, what's this? Biscuit. Okay, is it something that we eat? Do you like biscuits? Say after me, biscuit, biscuit. Yeah. Now, could you make a sentence like, I like biscuits, or I don't like biscuits? Yeah, something like this. So it's okay if they don't know, you'll give them a model, but you try to elicit to help them understand. And also to see whether they know the word or not. All right, let's have a look at this task. Here you can see teacher's instructions and teacher trainer's comments. So there was an observer, a formal lesson was given, and the trainer then gave some comments. So let's match them. Okay, 1B. So what's the problem here? We have compare your answers, but first do this. Yeah, the instructions haven't been staged, and the trainer is highlighting that. You need to think, yeah, and decide on the order. And first, you'll be grouping students, and then you'll be doing this. Very good. Number 2. Okay, everyone agrees. Number 2 is A. Obviously, one night is not enough. Yeah, so this deadline is not manageable. It's just crazy. And number 3. Okay, many of you are saying it's C. Right. Yeah. So so the instructions may be clear, but some of the students might have missed something, and it's always good to ask an ICQ, like, which page are you on, or demonstrate the activity. Like, let's have a look at number 1 together. I'll start doing the task. Yeah. Right. Very good. So here you can see the recommended answers. Now, I'm sure you are interested in different sequencing activities, and they can be presented in different ways. I'm going to highlight for you a preparatory activity, not a sample task, but that will help us focus on how to put things in order in a lesson. So let's look at the first situation related to setting up vocabulary review. What do we do first? Okay, yes, so we'll start with C, yeah. Today we are going to review some vocabulary. What we'll do next? So 1C first, then A, B, or D. Which one? Yes, then B, absolutely right. Open your books, yeah. Or if there is a handout, here is a handout. Very good. What's next? And then we demonstrate. Let's try. And then we give them a signal, off you go. Absolutely right. So the answer will be like this. And the questions might be different in the sample, well, in the real test, obviously, like what's the first one or what's the last one, something like this. They won't ask you to sequence the whole thing, but the idea is to check your understanding how to sequence stages. So let's have a look at number 2. And give me the whole sequence of the micro stages. Okay, I think Linara is very smart and she's giving the right answer. Denise, you're having D twice. Okay. Yes, we'll start with B, actually, that's right. Those of you who are saying B is first is absolutely right, yeah. Yeah, okay, awesome. So let's have a look at the recommended sequence. Yeah, we start with B. Look at the handout. We are not giving the handout yet. We are just explaining what they'll be doing, right? Then you demonstrate the activity, obviously, yeah, number 1. And then we look at other things they have to do there. Grouping students, helping them work together, and prompting them. Very good. Okay, let's look at number 3. I also have D first, but I don't have C second. Okay, some of you are right. Let me just see and show you. Yeah, so that's what we've got. So we start with D. We start explaining the task. And obviously A is just the continuation of that utterance. Explaining, giving instructions. And then you keep clarifying what to do, and then giving them a signal, a cue to start doing that. All right, okay. So that's been really cool. That's been smart of you, and hopefully the right level of challenge for this audience, yeah? So we'll be focusing on how to group students. Remember, on Tuesday, we've talked about different interaction patterns and activities. Like, for example, for a discussion, we can use a plenary activity, a whole class activity. Yeah? So number 1 is a whole class activity. Number 2, yeah, is also a whole class activity, but students are working individually. They are not interacting with the teacher. Number 3 is closed pairs, and number 4 is an open pair, right? So some of you are saying that A is 3, students working in closed pairs. You're absolutely right. This is number 3. So you got it right. Keep on working. B is 1. Okay, yes, that will be an open class or a whole class discussion of some kind. And that's how we give instructions usually and give feedback. So for C, I can see quite a few right answers. Number 4. It's an open class demonstration when you nominate 2 students and they do, for example, a role play together in front of others, and then you split them into pairs and everyone will be doing the same thing. And finally, D is the second one. Students are working individually, and you can see that teacher is monitoring. Okay, we have D3 somehow. No, that's not right. Reconsider that, please. So of course, after working individually, students can compare their answers with their partners in pairs, but it's not highlighted here, so the correct answer will be 2. Okay, right, got it. So here is a sample task. Take some time, and when you're ready, you can share your ideas. Obviously, you have only 3 problems, so you can use 1 problem at least 2 times. Okay, I can see some of your ideas already, and 1 is A. Yes, I'm confirming that. 2B, okay. So I can assume that 3 will be C. Okay, I'm just selling that idea. You don't have to buy it. Yeah, some of you are smart and saying that 3 is actually A, because we can use one and the same problem several times. Yes, because students may be bored, actually we introduce different activities, increasing the level of challenge. Yeah, that's what number 3 is about. And arranging groups carefully. All right, okay, you got it. So brilliant. Oh no, 4A, how come? How come? Okay, so some students get bored. If you regroup them, it might not be very helpful. But if you change an activity, the pace of the lesson, yeah, then probably, yeah, something might work. So that's why it's more about dominant students, and that's why we rearrange grouping, yeah, rearrange partnership sometimes to, yeah, we can use A twice, that's right, that's right. Okay, it's good that you do agree. So let's talk about feedback. So during the lesson, we collect a lot of information about students and we give them feedback, right? So I have some statements about feedback. Like number 1, feedback is only from teacher to students. Yeah, do you agree? No. No. Why not? Why not? Let's change this statement to make it true. Okay, we can elicit feedback from peers, so that students get feedback, give and get feedback from their peers. Yeah, from students to the teacher. That's fantastic. That's awesome. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, both sides. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Can a student, a particular student, an individual student, give feedback on themselves, on their performance? Yeah, that also can work. Yeah, very good. Okay, now number 2, is it true? The main reason for feedback after an activity is to correct errors. No. Why not? What is the main reason for giving feedback? To praise, very good. What other purposes of feedback can you see? To motivate, absolutely right. Yes, to highlight maybe some areas they need to work on, obviously to encourage, to reflect. Yeah, exactly, to maintain a positive atmosphere, that's what you do. Yeah, to check understanding, very good. Great ideas. Okay, let's move on. Number 3, feedback only relates to the topics of the lesson. Okay, some of you are saying yes, but many of you are saying no. So, not always. Okay, so you partially agree. Now, it depends, exactly. Okay, what does that depend on? So what else might feedback be on? What might be the focus of feedback? Behavior, very good. Individual needs, absolutely right. Yes, their attempts, yes. If they're putting a lot of effort, it's just silly not to highlight that. Their interests, very good. Relationship, okay, that's interesting, yeah. But yeah, possibly. Attendance, oh, okay, you've turned up, well done. Yeah, okay. Discipline, yeah. Like good behavior can be praised for. Commitment, absolutely right. Yeah, very good. Okay, let's move on then. It's just if feedback is on language, does it have to be the target language, or we can give feedback only on the topical vocabulary, for example? Can it be on something else? What do you think? Yeah, there might be some other aspects, right? Maybe emergent language, some needs, maybe some fossilized errors or slips that you want to fix, yeah, something like this. Okay, awesome. So number 4 you are saying is true. Feedback which is negative should be constructive. It's good that we have at least one true statement, seriously, yeah? That's been silly of me to prepare these statements. Okay, how about number 5? So we have a couple of true statements. Okay. And what actually might feedback entail? Like if it is constructive, what does it mean? If there is some progress, how can we show that? So what word do we need to, not just some idea, good, yes. You're on the right track, yeah. It should be very specific, right? We need to give an example of an utterance, for example, that should be corrected, or maybe, yeah, exactly, showing them how to improve, yeah, something like this. Very good. Okay, and the teacher needs to talk a lot in feedback after activities. No. Okay. So we do understand that it doesn't have to be teacher-led. Yeah, we can delegate that responsibility. Yeah, and students might be a lot more active. It's just our job to find some ways how to prompt them. Very good. Okay. So feedback is a very interesting concept. Well, as many other things that I've mentioned today, and it is worth considering who will be giving feedback. Is it your job to do, or you'll be probably prompting students to give feedback to one another? Like, for example, yesterday I observed a lesson of one of my trainees, and she asked students to read each other's written works, right? So students were giving feedback to one another, which is great, isn't it? So is the level appropriate? Yeah, is the level of your language that you are using, or the technique that you are using, is it appropriate in general? The level of challenge is good enough, yeah? How can we give feedback, yeah? What is the mode? Do we just give them the feedback orally or in a written form? Yeah, peer assessment, okay. I'm not sure I can read under your utterance there. Not joking, you mean, or what? Yeah, and then the focus, yeah, what to give feedback on, why to give feedback, yeah, something like this. Yes, not all of them might be interested in getting involved. That's true, that's true. So, yeah, so we need to keep in mind these aspects. So to clarify what the focus of feedback is like, yeah, I've got a slide, and let's consider the first example. You have really made progress in your use of tenses. What's the focus of feedback here? Grammar. Yes, exactly. It is on grammar. Maybe tenses, if we are more specific, and also the students' achievements, right? You're highlighting them there. Okay, number 2. Yes, feedback is on writing, organizational features. Very good. The layout, yeah, organizational features, logical. Yeah, yeah, okay, great ideas. Number 3. Pronunciation for sure. So are we focusing on fluency or accuracy here? Yes, we are helping enhance their speaking skills, and yeah, on accuracy, absolutely right, yes. And also we are promoting learner autonomy. Go to the lab, do it yourself, right? We are showing them different ways how to do that. Okay, number 4. Yes, progress, praise, effort, very good, yes, great ideas. And finally, number 5 here. To motivate, advice, very good, yes, yes, to give recommendations, yeah, absolutely right. Okay, great. So, when your students produce texts, yeah, in written form, what kind of feedback you give? What techniques do you use? Could you type in your ideas in the chat box? Mark it. Okay, what do you use? What techniques do you use for marking? Do you use correction codes? Very good. Encourage students before writing. So you raise the awareness of the criteria, right? Okay. Jigsaw what? Didn't catch that. That's been an interesting idea. Jigsaw reading. Okay, Elena, I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean by that, but I like the technique. My Delta Model 2 lesson was with jigsaw reading. Yeah. Okay, correction. Self-correction, peer correction. Okay, very good. Okay. I'm going to show you some examples, yeah, what feedback on writing might be like, and the aims. So what kind of task do you think I'm going to show? Multiple choice, matching, odd one out? What might it be? Odd one out? You want odd one out? Unfortunately, I think this is matching. Let me just check. No, this is just matching. Sorry, the level of challenge is inappropriate. So probably you can do it really fast. So you have a moment to have a look. Okay. Anna, you are really fast. Christina, Galina, oh, another Anna. Wow, that's amazing. So everyone thinks that number 1 is A, yeah, to promote learner autonomy, peer correction, yeah, editing, proofreading, absolutely right. Okay, let's move to number 2. Be careful, be careful. They don't have to be in order, like 1A to B. Think again. And why, Christina, you have 2 answers, to B and C? Choose only one, please. That's what matching is like. All right. Okay, that's better. So we have 2C. Yes, absolutely right. Very good. An example, a model. That's right. So we are ready to have a look at number 3. Okay, so fair enough. That's been easy, hopefully. And yeah, we can all confirm the answers. Yeah, 1A, 3C, 2C and 3D. Well done. Okay, so you coped with this task well. Now, the next task is going to be very personalized. Are you ready for the challenge? I'm going to show you quite a few descriptions. Well, in fact, there will be 3 teachers sharing their opinions on feedback. Yeah, what feedback and error correction might be like in particular. So what's your attitude to error correction? Read all of them and choose the one that resonates with you. Okay, so we have a mixture of different answers. Some of you have strongly disagree with A. Never let my students make mistakes. Oh, that's an attitude, yeah. That reminds me of my school, state school, let's say. Yeah. Sorry if we have state school teachers who have a very sensible approach to error correction. I didn't mean to hurt you. But yeah, exactly, Maria. I totally agree. Mistakes, we can't actually improve without making mistakes. And students need some kind of flexibility, confidence to be able to experiment with the language. Okay, some of you are saying B and C, right? So we do need to correct students sometimes, right? And teacher B said sometimes, not all the time, and teacher C says, as little as possible. Now, how to find the balanced approach? Yeah, what's the best way? When to ignore and when to focus on errors and highlight them to the students? I don't know. Can it be put in a short form? Like any ideas? When accuracy, very good. When the focus is on accuracy, of course, we'll be correcting them. There will be an element of immediate correction and some delayed correction as well. It is difficult, Anna, I agree, yes. And C is more when the focus is on fluency. Amazing. You know what? I didn't know how to explain that, but you've just helped me. Thank you very much. Okay, so when we correct learners, we keep in mind the same areas that I've talked about when we started talking about feedback, because correcting is part of feedback, right? And who will be correcting? Yeah, you or the students? How it'll be done? Yeah, in a very directive manner, or it can be a kind of prompt hint, or maybe you won't be attracting their attention, just reformulating the utterances because you don't want to interrupt the flow, the natural flow of a conversation. Yeah, what to focus on, like if it is the target language, and probably it's a good idea to interrupt, intervene and fix that right away. If the focus is on accuracy, yes. Okay, and when to do that, whether to do that on the spot or do it later, yeah? And yes, we can ask other students, I agree, Maria, yeah. And yeah, so later, okay, your priority is to correct later. Okay, yeah, I agree actually, yeah. Okay, so which techniques we can use to correct students? Let's have a look at the top of the slide. I have many techniques highlighted there. Have you ever used finger techniques? Yes, very good. So peer correction you've mentioned already. Delayed corrections we've talked about a little bit. Reformulation and recast, yeah, was highlighted earlier. Echo correction. So I think you understand it's just common sense when you repeat an utterance. Immediate correction or on-the-spot correction. Yeah, correction codes you do know about. And self and timelines. I think everything should be clear, right? If you're well prepared for the task, oh, Galina is already given the first answer. Awesome. Okay, one is C, influency activities. Delayed, yes, absolutely right. That's a good idea. Yes, we do repeat an utterance, so it's an echoing technique. Don't really like this technique though. Okay, how about number 3? Yes, it is a kind of diagram. There is tense and time involved. So yes, it is a timeline. You got it right. And let's finish up. Okay, so we have a few examples of what correction codes might be like. Yeah, like P for punctuation, T for tenses, WW for wrong words, yeah, or something like that. Yeah, absolutely right. Well done. Brilliant. Brilliant. You can see the answers here on the slide. Compare if there is a problem. Yeah, SP for spelling. Well done, Alexandra. Absolutely. Any other symbols that you use? Could you share with me? Yeah, wrong order, I guess. Grammar, tenses, vocabulary, probably. Yeah, spelling again. ST, what does it stand for? Determiner. Ooh, L. What's that? Didn't get what L is that. Lexis, okay. Register. Speaking. Well, that's interesting. What do you do for speaking? Preposition, yeah. Tick for a missing word. Yeah, that can be used. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, obviously you can use your creativity and imagination and create your own codes, yeah? I've got a set of codes for you. Here are the symbols that you can use. You don't have to stick to them, but if you want, you can use these ideas. And some of them we haven't highlighted, yes, like if a new paragraph is necessary, if meaning is not clear, yeah, or you want to praise your students, highlighting good sentences. There was something else we haven't talked about, like singular, plural form. Yeah. Anyway, let's use the codes for this utterance. Let's say not an utterance, written form. How can you mark it? I can see word order, wrong word somewhere. Spelling, very good. Something is not necessary. I wonder what is not necessary here. No, I didn't. Why? That's what you're saying. It's not necessary. It's just wrongly spelled, I guess. Okay, thank you, Marina, for being an attendee. Yeah, does or did. Okay, good. So I've got some ideas I'm highlighting here, like spelling will be highlighted like this. So what's the word should be used instead of no? Yeah, so those of you who are saying grammar or word order or tenses, you're right, of course, there is a mixture of those. Yeah, absolutely right. Homophones, yes, exactly, no, perfect, yeah. Okay, so that's just something to give you, well, to give you an example, yeah. And now, have a look at the task and tell me the task type. Yes, Audrey, that's right, yeah. So what's the task type in front of you? Odd one out. So keeping that in mind, be careful. Yeah, it's multiple choice with an element of odd one out. So identify the right answer for number one. Okay, Helena is very fast, both Annas, Ekaterinas. Okay, and everyone agrees that it will be 1C. Yeah, so we can correct students quietly when they work in small groups. Yeah, or we can do that after the stage. Yeah. And then, of course, you won't be asking weaker students to feel intimidated, yeah, and retell something with errors. Of course not. Okay, and number two. Yeah, so we have quite a few correct answers already. Number two will be B. Let me just highlight the correct answers. Yeah. Yeah, miming is not likely to be very helpful here, but using gestures, yeah, showing something, pointing out the error will be more helpful. Okay, awesome. Great. Oops, that's been a mistake, of course. Now, first I wanted to elicit from you what classroom management is like. Do you still remember what we've mentioned in today's session? Your ideas, please, in the chat box. The most important and challenging components that you need to keep in mind when we work on classroom management. Well, managing activities in general. What else? Using classroom language, I guess, right? Yes, different roles, giving feedback, setting up tasks, giving instructions, yeah. Praising students, yeah, different groupings, praising, yeah, planning wisely, yes, this is not classroom management, of course, but that will help. Okay. Yes, different correction techniques, recasting. Yeah, okay, assessing students, helping them. Very good. So basically identifying problems if necessary, helping students cope with different tasks, monitoring and collecting information about what students are capable of doing and what kind of help they need in the future. Simplifying things, very good. Monitoring again, yeah, that's very important. Regrouping students, yes. Stages, okay, yeah, micro stages perhaps, yeah, like when we give instructions and so on. Now I'll show you a slide with some prompts and I want you to choose the most important components. Have a look. Give me a number. Which one is the most important? You can use a couple of numbers if you want. Okay, 1. Yeah, teaching presence is extremely important. Okay, controlling your voice, that can help your keep students focused. 3, yes, different rules. Yeah, you can reinforce them from time to time. Yeah, 4, okay, it's interesting. Yeah, discipline procedures, yeah, true. 5, I wanted to see 5, yeah, so there will be an element of making spontaneous decisions. Yes, spontaneous decisions, sorry. It's very important. It's an important ingredient of classroom management. Absolutely right, yeah. Praising students for sure, yeah, and rewarding them for different things, including their behavior. And yes, Yuri, that's the point of this slide, to show that we actually need all of them. All of them belong to classroom management. And to be well organized and well prepared, we need to plan our lessons, and you highlighted that idea earlier. So, of course, you may have different priorities. Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. Number 9 is everything, and number 8 is also, yeah, sort of self-explanatory. So hopefully this session was quite practical. So you've revised some of the terms, some of the concepts became clearer for you, and everything started to fall into place, and you're better prepared for the test, and the results are already on the cards. Yeah. So good luck with your experience of taking TKT. I'll be happy to answer your questions if you have any. We have a couple of minutes. Thank you very much for being active, for your smart ideas, great contributions. I really appreciate that. I enjoyed all 3 sessions with you. Thank you for being my students. And don't forget, you can still continue working on TKT by attending 2 more webinars. My colleagues will join in and continue exploring different models with you. Thank you. Okay, let me see if we have any questions. Will the recording be available? Yes. Define the term systems and skills. Yeah, so we've talked about that, when we talked on Monday. And systems is language-related lessons, lessons on vocabulary, grammar, functional language, and skills is all receptive and productive skills. Yeah, reading, listening, receptive skills, and speaking and writing are productive skills. So the lesson frameworks will be different depending on your priorities, what you want to teach. In teacher's role, what's the difference between language, resource, and adapter? So when you give information, clarify meaning of new lexical items, for example, yeah, you are a language resource. And if you change some of the activities, adapting them to meet your students' needs, then you are an adapter. And you can do it on the go. It doesn't have to be planned, obviously. Band 3, 60 to 69. Well, to be honest, it's not... we can't be precise there. Basically, first they collect all the answer sheets, and then they decide which bands to award. But it's quite easy to pass. Yeah, so yeah, something like this, probably. Yeah, over 70 will be band 4. Yeah. So think about 80%. That should be correct to achieve band 4. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Do you have to answer all the questions to get band 4? I've just answered. Is it possible to pass a particular model randomly? Yes, it's you feel free to choose which model to focus on. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so thank you very much for being with me, for one day, for a couple of days, or all 3 sessions? And thank you for your kind words. Yeah, it means a lot to me.